got our NFL Super Wild Card Weekend winners and losers. This one's gonna be a little different though, because given that there wasn't that many games on like a regular NFL week, me and Mario decided to cram it all into one and agree on who is the true winners and losers. So with that said, Mario, are you ready?
Let's do this.
All right, Mario's got you with the losers. Go for it, kid.
All right. So first of all, the first loser on our list, we got the Seattle Seahawks offensive line. And the reason why we chose this offensive line is because honestly, they didn't give Russell Wilson in the running back core. They didn't give him enough time to really do anything. I mean, and let's look at these stats. Like, let's be honest here. They let go of 7 sacks and 6 tackles for loss. Like, I mean,
Unacceptable.
unacceptable. It's unnecessary. And I mean that's just really unnecessary by this team, especially in a playoff game against your division rivals. Like the Rams defense just basically obliterated that offense, and Russell Wilson did what he could. I mean, he didn't have the best game, but I couldn't call him a loser because even though his completion percentage wasn't the best, he still had 2 TDs and an interception. He did what he could with what he had. And guys weren't getting open quick enough, and that's not their fault. It's the offensive line. The offensive line's job is to create enough protection so that Russell Wilson has time to throw that ball. And if I'm the Seattle Seahawks, I'm really considering getting an offensive lineman in this draft. After seeing this performance, I really am considering it because this can't keep
Absolutely
happening.
agree. I absolutely agree. It's absolutely unnecessary. It's just can't be doing that, especially in a game that you need to win.
With that being said, number 2, we got David Montgomery. David Montgomery had 12 rushes for 31 yards and 0 TDs. That's an average of 2.2 yards per carry. Look, we talked about this when we made the prediction. In order for the Bears to win, I don't think it was going to go through Trubisky. I think David Montgomery had to really carry the load. And I told you on camera. I told everybody. I said it was going to be a rough game, and it was. And the reason why it was because I realized that in that offense, the best way had a chance of winning was through David Montgomery. And I know what people are saying. Well, they really had some success throwing the ball. You're right. I'm not saying they didn't. I'm not saying Trubisky was a total fluke that game. What I am saying is David Montgomery, the past few games, offensively has been going off. In this game, he had to do the same in order for them to even have a chance. You know what I'm saying? This could not have gone through Mitchell Trubisky. I couldn't see it happen, and it didn't. Okay, they throw the passing game. Trubisky had one beautiful pass to Wims, and Wims
On
completely,
limbs.
yeah, and he completely dropped it. He completely dropped in the end zone. And then from there, it just didn't go smoothly. Offensive line didn't do a good job blocking for Trubisky. Trubisky having a lot of time to throw that ball. David Montgomery didn't get a lot of pockets to go through. And the reason why I call David Montgomery the loser here, even though, is because David Montgomery, it was his job to take some relief off of Trubisky, and he didn't do that. The Saints absolutely tortured David Montgomery that whole game, and David Montgomery couldn't run the ball for nothing.
Absolutely.
And last but not least, the third loser on our list. This is a shocker because this man's been a winner the whole season. Derrick Henry.
Mm.
Look, Derrick Henry had 18 rushes, 40 yards, 0 TDs, and a 2.2 yard per carry, the same amount of yards per carry as David Montgomery. Look, this was a very close game by the Ravens. Unlike the Bears game and the Saints, because the Bears got obliterated. All right, the Titans and the Ravens game was decided by a score. It was 20-13. Derrick Henry having a better rushing game would have definitely helped the Titans win this game.
Absolutely.
He wasn't there. I gotta give the Ravens credit. They did a great job on stopping Derrick Henry, but Derrick Henry's job was to win that game.
Absolutely.
He had to have the same night he has been in the regular season. And look, you could be the leading rusher through the regular season. You could break the regular season record. He didn't do that, but you could. You know what I'm saying? You could have the greatest regular season stats. But let me tell you something. When it comes to playoffs, you need to have your best game yet.
Absolutely.
Okay, it can't be this.
Especially if you were a guy going off all 16 games,
Absolutely. Your team expects this out of you. You know what I'm saying? It's like LeBron averaging 30, 10, and 10, and he gets into the playoffs and he drops 10 points. We don't expect that out of LeBron. We expect him to produce at a high level like he does in the regular season. And obviously we're not professional athletes, so us judging them, it kind of seems tough. But here's the thing: we know that that's not our job. Our job is to talk about it. Our job is to talk about it. The reason why me and you have jobs is because of these athletes and nobody else, because of sports.
Right.
That's the reason why. Okay, and for Derrick Henry to play like this, you know what I'm saying? Everybody has a bad night, but this was unnecessary. This was the worst time to have a bad night.
Absolutely, yeah. You're in the wild card. You got to move on.
Absolutely, especially the postseason that he had last year, it was incredible.
Right.
So for him to go from that to this, that's why I got to put him as a loser. So with that being said, those are 3 losers for wild card weekend.
All right, I got you with the winners. Our number one winner, Josh Allen. He did his thing, man. He lifted the Bills to their first playoff win in 25 years. Good God. Anyway, he get 26 for 35, completion attempts, 324 yards, 2 TDs. In addition to that, he had 11 rushes, 54 yards, and a touchdown. Um, and it's an average of 4.9 yards per carry, basically 5 yards. I gotta give Josh Allen credit, man. That game, the first half of that Colts and Bills game was very, very slow. Like both teams were keeping it close. It was a very close game, and then Josh Allen started to pick up the pace. He did his job, and I'm very excited to see him in the wild card round. Against the who's he facing again? The Ravens, right?
The Indianapolis Colts.
No, they faced the Colts, but the next round they're facing the Ravens, right?
Oh yeah, they're playing the Ravens next week.
That's gonna be a very fun game to watch. So
Yeah,
I gotta go on.
no, yeah,
I was gonna say I can give a lot of credit to Josh Allen.
absolutely. And I mean, Josh Allen, like we expect this out of him, but the fact that he did this against such a great Colts defense and in a very close game, he really clutched up when needed, and he really did. And he came and he won the game basically. And Josh Allen had a great game. You know what I'm saying? Like he's been playing magnificent this whole season, and I expect this out of him the next round. You know, no matter who he's playing. Josh Allen, I believe, can be that type of quarterback that no matter how good the defense is, he will always have a good game against them. Kind of like a Patty, kind of like a Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes, no matter how good that defense is, he usually has great games. So, with that being said, congratulations to Josh Allen, an amazing performance, leading the Bills to their first playoff win in 25 years.
Oh, man.
So, I got to give him a lot of credit.
Yeah. And our second winner is the Cleveland Browns. Look, they played in an absolutely incredible game. To score 28 points in the first quarter. I am so glad they beat the Steelers. Oh man, me and Juju are gonna have a talk, man. Me and Juju are gonna have a nice little talk. I'm happy for the Cleveland Browns. They actually won a damn playoff game. And you know what? Because of that, because of what they did to the Pittsburgh Steelers, now I get it. You're all going to be like, they ain't nothing like the Chiefs, and you're absolutely correct. But that was a statement win. They beat the Chiefs. They beat not the Chiefs. Excuse me. They beat the Steelers by a little over like 2 scores, right? Something like that.
It was, I believe, it was like 48 to 35 or something. No, 48 to like 35 or 37.
Oh, like 48-37. I got it right now. But yeah, so it was like by a score or two. With that said, and not to mention, you got to remember, Big Ben in that game threw 47 completed passes, which, by the way, is an NFL record now. And he threw over 500 yards. Let me ask you a question, Mario. When was the last time a quarterback threw over 500 yards?
I could in a playoff game or in general.
Just in general.
I think a couple of games. I think a couple of weeks ago. I think we've seen it a little bit.
Yeah, it's very rare. It's very rare, but the fact that they stopped.
On the other hand, with Ben Roethlisberger, though, the 4 interceptions were unnecessary.
Exactly, and they took advantage. They took advantage of Ben Roethlisberger despite the other amazing stats that he put up. He had 4 TDs over 500 yards, but that wasn't enough for the Cleveland Browns. You know, the Cleveland Browns took over them on defense and on offense. I gotta give the team so much credit, man. I'm happy for them. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah, we can kind of see the momentum shift with the Cleveland Browns. We can kind of see the wave starting to rise with the Cleveland Browns because obviously now, first of all, congratulations to them. This is their first playoff win in 26 years. So congratulations to the Bills and the Browns. But again, with the Browns, you can kind of see they're getting the pieces to build this championship team. You know, they got the quarterback, they got the receivers, they got the defense. You know, they just got to put it together now. And the one thing I could criticize the Bills for this game was they let the Steelers get in it during the game. They let them get back into it. And I believe that if you're going to do this against the Kansas City Chiefs will capitalize. Absolutely. So I think the Cleveland Browns need to focus on building a lead against the Kansas City Chiefs and keeping it, taking every opportunity, don't take an opportunity for granted. Okay, seize the opportunity and make the best out of it. And again, we got to give them credit because they went through a lot of COVID problems. You got the Jedrick Wills and Rashad Higgins situation. They coached the game with Pryfer, and I got to give a lot of credit to him because he took that Stefanski offense and he didn't change it one bit. He took that game plan and he kept it throughout the whole game, no matter what. And I got to give him credit. The Cleveland Browns really did hang in there. Really did do an amazing job against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And like we say, next man up, and you got to survive that week. Well, they did a lot more than just survive. They conquered it.
Absolutely. And our number 3 winner, this was a little controversial, but I had to put this dude on here, man. Mario, you can give him a bonus winner if you want to, but you know what? I had to put this man on here. I gotta give credit to Taylor Heineke, man. And the reason why, and I know the football team lost, I understand that, but the reason why I put this kid on here, let me give you a stats first, and I'll tell you why. He went 26 for 44 completion attempts, 306 yards, a TD. He did have an interception, but other than that, he had 6 rushes, 46 yards, a touchdown, and 7.7 yards per carry. Listen, the reason why he's on my list is because this dude came up from the practice squad. And he did that against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And if I'm a Buccaneers fan, I'm panicking. Because you're facing Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints next week in the divisional round. And I get it. That was a good win by the Tampa Bay Bucs. But this is a team they should have blown out of the sky, according to a lot of people, and they didn't. They won that game by a score. And it was and I know Taylor Heineke didn't lift the football team to a win, but guess what? He did everything that he could against this Bucs team, and he also exploited a lot of their weaknesses on defense and defense. Excuse me, not offense. But with that said, I gotta give that kid credit, man. I really do. And if I'm a Washington football team fan, and if I'm on the Washington football team, don't even put your heads down. Keep your damn heads up because this team's got a bright future ahead of them.
Yeah, absolutely. Taylor Heineke played a great game. I remember him. He used to be a Minnesota Viking. He played a lot in the preseason, and like the diving touchdown he had, which was an amazing diving touchdown, it didn't shock me because he did it a lot in the preseason. I've seen it so many times.
Right.
I've seen him have clutch drives so many times, and he was such a great preseason quarterback for us. But congrats to him because his first start was basically a postseason. It was a postseason game against one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time and against one of the best defenses this year. So I got to give him a lot of credit. He played a pretty good game for somebody who just came in. And usually we don't add people interception, but here's the reason why we added Taylor Heineke over everybody else. Taylor Heineke went toe-to-toe with Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Right.
Went toe-to-toe with the Bucs. Went toe-to-toe with their defense. A lot of teams can't do that.
Absolutely.
Taylor Heineke did. Now, if I'm the Washington football team, I'm really considering it. I'm really considering keeping Taylor Heineke for maybe a year. Give him the minimum, whatever. But Taylor Heineke, I think, could be a very good quarterback. I think he could be better than a lot of people think.
Absolutely.
Given the tool, if he has the right tools to win that.
This reminds me a lot of the Justin Herbert situation. Although in this case, it kind of goes around me a little bit, Justin Herbert almost.
This reminds me more of kind of like I want to say like a Case Keenum.
Yeah.
You sign him just for like the hell of it, just to have a back. Unfortunate injuries happen to the starting quarterback. The guy comes in and takes over. Except Case Keenum was able to do it for the Vikings for a season, and Heineke had a good game for one game. Now the question is, can Heineke keep this up consistently? Because you can have one good game, but can you do it consistently?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think the coaches know, and I think the coaches know more than us how good Taylor Heineke can play. You know what I'm saying? Due to the fact that you see it in practice or whatever, or practice squad, they have a little bit more of an idea than us. But even they don't have the full answer because they haven't seen enough. So with that being said, these are our winners and losers of Super Wildcard Weekend. Congratulations to the winners. As for the losers, you got to improve your game from there. And we will see you guys in the divisional round.